A tranquil mountain day with my son took an unexpected turn. The days after Christmas blurred as the joyful season faded into winter's harsh embrace. A clear change was evident this year. My 25-year-old son Robert had grown into a handsome young man who exuded confidence. His poise and demeanor were mesmerizing. I was surprised when he suggested renting a trailer and going to the mountains for a week. "It'll be good for both of us, Mom," he added with a smile that mimicked his boyish charm from his childhood, the same smile he used to get out of trouble. "You and I are alone with the whispering snowy pathways, the crackling fire, and a deep tranquility. No way I could refuse." A relaxing week in the mountains promised rest and regeneration after the holidays. We carefully packed only the essentials: warm clothes to keep us warm, board games to laugh and compete, and a few novels to fill the quiet evenings with adventure and intrigue. Robert meticulously planned the itinerary and created a music for their excursion. Though the drive was long, the view was breathtaking. Frost-covered trees lined the road, looking like postcards. I felt really calm as we parked into the quiet, secluded trailer park in the icy valley. The scene was perfect. Only we remained surrounded by magnificent mountains and the soothing crackle of the fire. We became closer every day, revealing dimensions of intimacy we never expected. We spent each morning in the quiet woods, lunches with hot cocoa, and evenings around the campfire with emotional connection. Conversations that were formerly shallow at home now flowed with intensity and depth. Robert breathed deeply as he revealed his dreams and anxieties, exposing parts of his life that had been hidden. Looking at him differently changed my perspective. Not just as the boy I raised, but as a strong man. I was proud of his quiet resilience and the man he'd become. A clear insight washed over me. I relied on him since his father and I split up. We staggered back to the trailer at twilight, our cheeks aglow from the chilling evening air and the hike's exhaustion still hanging to us. Robert took over the kitchen with resolve, determined to create a supper that would leave a lasting impression. A delicious pasta meal with rich flavors and warmth. He engulfed me while we dined under an electric lantern, enslaving me. "Thank you, Ollie," I said, recalling a childhood nickname I had almost forgotten. This brilliant idea had great potential. The air sparked when his blue eyes met mine. "Mom, it's good just being with you," he whispered, as if the moment were fragile and valuable. Life appears to have washed us away, leaving us in a sea of silence where meaningful discussion has disappeared. His comments rang true. Despite the grind of school, job, and daily life, he was right. True connection has almost disappeared. That night, while the fire roared outside and the wind howled like a restless soul, we were engulfed in a profound silence, each heartbeat reflecting the strain. Robert read while I watched snowflakes delicately fall from the window. I felt overwhelmed with thankfulness. He saw the world as a canvas waiting to be painted with the colors of his dreams, for the man he was meant to be, and for his tireless drive to make this journey a reality. A side I had never seen before revealed his dedication to our relationship. Every heartbeat carried the appeal of a tale from the mountains. Robert was determined to remember this week forever. After our soul-stirring chat, the rich, enticing fragrance of freshly brewed coffee woke me up before daybreak. Robert appeared in the tight sleeping nook doorway when I opened my eyes. He held a hot mug and smiled mischievously. "Morning, sleepyhead," he taunted with amused eyes. "I thought you deserved breakfast in bed for being such a great trekking partner." I laughed softly as I wrapped the warm blanket about me for comfort. "I'm the best hiking buddy currently." In my mind, your speech echoed the constant complaints we heard while we walked that last mile yesterday. He extended the mug to me with a quiet smile and a mischievous look. It was a clever plan designed to leave everyone gasping, inspire your laughter, and propel us forward. My selflessness is limitless. The coffee was wonderful, like I had always wanted. I felt a huge wave of appreciation. As snow fell outside the trailer, it appeared as if everything had vanished, leaving only the two of us in our little universe. "Thanks," I whispered, looking at him. "This is touching." He shrugged, his gaze fixed on the moment with great intensity. "Mom, you deserve everything. Your selflessness is limitless, making others your priority. Now is your time to pamper yourself." As we spent the morning together, his comments surrounded us like the trailer's comfort. Robert's eyes glittered as the sun set, throwing long shadows among the trees. "What if we take that other trail?" he proposed with adventure in his voice. We traveled with our garments snug against the cold chill. In the quiet woodland, the crunch of snow underfoot echoed. This was a wonderful walk, with limitless silence punctured by his sharp wit and playful banter. He joked that I was so bundled up I couldn't move, and he pointed out that my hat's frost made me look like a survivalist. I mock-swatted him, and his laughter boomed through the trees like a joyful tune. The day entered unfamiliar terrain at twilight. As we returned to the trailer, the icy ground became a quiet predator. I fell to the ground when my foot slipped violently, sending a flash of pain up my leg. "Mother!" Robert was there instantly, helping me sit up with his steady, loving hands. "Are you okay? The pain's cause?" he asked with tension. My leg throbbed heavily, sending pain waves through me. I flinched to move it, but the pain was inexorable. My ankle hurt sharply, and I knew I had twisted it. He gracefully lifted me into his embrace like a feather. With a firm voice, he advised against stepping on it. "I'm fine, Robert." My resistance was weak. He spoke up without hesitation, his voice calm but firm. "You may think you're all right, but I won't watch you go deeper into darkness," he proclaimed with a cheeky grin, leaning forward. "I've been shaping my body for moments like these." His funny reply made me giggle through the pain. His thoughtfulness eased our years-long separation. As we returned to the trailer, Robert gently placed me on the tiny couch, lifting my leg with a pillow and strapping it with a haphazard ice pack. His voice was low as he crouched near me, his words hanging in the air. "We'll go home tomorrow. You'll stay here overnight. Reach out if you need help." As night fell, lethargy crept in like a shadow, but my legs ache kept me up, refusing to let me rest. I woke up in the stillness of the night, shivering as an unnerving chill sliced through the trailer's purported warmth. I felt a constant ache in my head and a frightening fact. My fever burned, blurring reality. His fingers gently touched my forehead as he leaned closer. "Despite being in flames, you feel cold. Be ready." Before I could protest, he lay in bed alongside me, wrapped his arms around me, and pulled the duvet over us, enclosing us in warmth and intimacy. He said, "You need to find warmth consistently." His voice was firm and compassionate. I snuggled my head into his chest, mesmerized by his steady heartbeat, and his warmth erased the shivers. His gentle patting of my back, like he did as a youngster, temporarily calmed me like morning mist. My voice was heavy with sleep as I whispered thank you. He always whispered. Like a child, he kissed my head quickly. "No matter what, I'll support you." I felt an unanticipated intimacy, a connection that strengthened in ways I couldn't articulate, in the night's quiet embrace and his warmth. I felt cared for the first time in years and realized I was not alone in this journey. As I fell asleep, I thought about how much this voyage had changed me. Not just Robert, but our lifelong bond. The next morning I awoke to the delicious aroma of something exquisite simmering in the air. My legs hurt, but the blankets and aroma soothed me, making the agony disappear. I carefully supported myself, feeling a sharp twinge of discomfort. My eyes were on Robert. He stood at the tiny kitchen counter with his back to me, engrossed in a quiet hum that mixed with the sizzle of whatever he was cooking. "Morning," I called, my voice raspy and sleepy. He turned, his bright smile lighting the shadows surrounding him. "Wake up, dreamer. You awakened to the smell of food. What emotions are you feeling now?" Despite the pain, I confessed. It was a huge improvement over the night before. Nodding, his forehead creased with apprehension. I cracked the eggs into the sizzling skillet, their golden yolks bursting as the sun rose and warmed the kitchen window. The smell of roasting bread and eggs created a breakfast symphony that drew me in. "Let me get you a dish, but we're going to the hospital after eating." An agreement hung in the air in silence. I laughed softly at his protective tone, warming inside. "I'm not interested in fighting." As promised, he brought me a plate and insisted on helping with every detail. His constant attention warmed me as I held the platter. Watching him clean up afterwards sparked an unexplainable affection that captured me. I muttered, "Thank you," locking eyes as he looked at me. He asked, his smile growing with curiosity. "Thanks for being yourself and always caring for me." His eyes held mine for a heartbeat, a silent interchange crackling in the air, before he nodded, blushing. "Always, Mom." The snow-covered landscape was a stunning canvas as the mountain was descended silently. Robert's peaceful gaze glanced at me, silently assessing my comfort. As he adjusted the temperature, his fingers touched mine briefly, warming us both. He avoided playlist tracks he thought would annoy me. When we got at the hospital, tiredness hit me hard. Robert held my shoulder as we walked inside from the car, reassuring me. As the doctor examined my leg, I could feel the weight of their scrutiny and the hospital's sterile smell. "Just a nasty sprain." While carefully bandaging my leg, the doctor spoke quietly and reassured me. "After a few days of rest, you'll be ready to face the world again." Robert exhaled, a flood of relaxation rolling over him, and I laughed. I said, "You look more relieved than I feel," with a smirk. "Your well-being must be considered." He replied with mischief in his eyes and a smile. As we entered, I felt relieved and grateful to be back home. Robert took me to the couch, wrapped me in blankets, and gave me a hot cup of tea and the remote before disappearing into the kitchen shadows. "No need to do everything," I yelled after him in the silence. He continued, "You deserve to be spoiled," peeking around the corner with a naughty grin. "Let me take care of you for once," and he did so with dedication. In the days that followed, he tightly controlled my movements. He thoughtfully cooked meals, organized the area, and sat next to me as I watched my favorite shows. I was surprised by how much I craved the warmth I had forgotten. The real tipping point came a few nights later. We reclined on the couch as the TV cast subtle shadows across the room, creating a tense atmosphere. My leg elevated high on a pillow. I felt the weight of the moment as Robert lounged next to me, his arm lying comfortably down the couch back, creating an atmosphere of unsaid tension. We were surrounded by a peaceful silence that said volumes, the kind that only comes from two spirits at ease together. He spoke suddenly from the hush. His voice was thick and intense, sending a shudder down her spine. "Mom, I cannot keep a secret that weighs on my heart." I turned to face him, my heart beating at his words. "Ollie, what?" I asked, feeling uneasy. He hesitated, looking at his hands, then slowly met mine. He stopped, his words hanging in the air, and said, "I've been thinking about us. A subtle but significant alteration has permeated daily existence. The globe seems to have tilted slightly, throwing shadows where there was brightness. Each moment has an electric tension, a hint of something fresh and unexplored ahead. The familiar is unfamiliar, and the commonplace pulses more intensely." My breath caught and my heart raced as it gripped me, forcing me to look deeper. "How does it differ?" I forced the words out, shivering with uncertainty. His naked, vulnerable look invited the world in as he leaned forward. "I care about you more than just as my mom," he said, shaking. "In chaos where emotions collide and rationality falters, I must communicate my heartfelt truth. I adore you. Not just family, but a figure of admiration, respect, and—" His tone became warm and compassionate. "Someone I want to connect with completely." His confession hung between us, raw and vulnerable, creating an electrifying tension. I felt his words, his feelings, and his bravery in expressing them while my heart raced. Robert stood at the edge of the world, his destiny looming like a storm cloud. He felt the thrill of adventure in his blood as the air crackled with expectancy. Each minute stretched with the promise of the unknown as he breathed deeply and faced his fate. My voice shook with uncertainty as I began. As I stood near the precipice, the wind howled like a restless spirit. Below, the pounding sea hit the jagged rocks, spraying salt water. My heart pounded, reflecting the urgency. My choices brought me to this point, and I felt the weight of the world on my shoulders. I saw countless possibilities painted in orange and purple as the sun set. I breathed deeply, preparing for the voyage that would change everything. I struggled to find the correct words as his voice sparked a torrent of emotions within me. As time passed, he became my steadfast anchor, a beacon of comfort and tenderness in life's storm. I detected a hint of recognition, whispering that I felt something too. I hid this reality, unwilling to name it. "We're fine," he answered quickly, a slight smile on his lips. His nonverbal hand gesture appeared to freeze our air. No need to say anything. My secret was too much to bear, so I had to tell. I nearly cried as I stretched my hand for his warmth. "Robert, you mean so much to me," I said, my voice shaking with genuine emotion beyond explanation. "What we share is special, and I cherish it." His grip on my hand tightened, his gaze searching my soul for a truth I couldn't reveal. In that moment, a single reality became clear. We pursued our quest together regardless of the way. His confession left me breathless, each word drifting like delicate snowflakes and chilling me. Amazing and profound. His sincere blue eyes stared at me with a gentle hope that warmed me but unsettled me. In a sudden rush of emotion, I leaned in and hugged him tightly, as if releasing him would destroy the delicate enchantment of this ephemeral moment we had found. Despite a tumultuous environment, his embrace held me stable, his warmth cocooning me. The world vanished in that moment. Let go of complexity and questions. Just us two, engrossed in our own universe. "Robert, you mean everything to me too," I whispered, shaking with emotion. "You must comprehend." He hugged me like a child after a nightmare, and I felt safe for the first time in years. He confessed, barely whispering, that he was afraid to tell you. His words whispered across my shoulder, but my anguish demanded release. Sighing, I leaned back and stared at him. I rubbed his hair, recalling the many tender memories from his boyhood. This time it was heavy and delicate, resonating within. I muttered, "You're braver than ever," barely breaking the silence. "I'll support you no matter what." He smiled slightly as he locked eyes with mine, and his genuineness warmed my heart. We stayed in one other's warmth until I shifted, winced, and my damaged leg hurt. He murmured, "Let me help," his worry returning as he gently guided me back onto the couch. He carefully placed the pillow under my leg, and to my surprise, he gently caressed my leg. "Is it painful?" he asked, his fingertip stroking along the bandage, avoiding the irritated area. "No," I said, shaking my head in certainty. "I feel a warm wave that's startling." His delicate touch gave me a deep sense of being loved. Besides calming my hurt, his intense look made me feel like nothing else mattered more than my well-being. I was pulled to him and instinctively stroked his cheek as my heart raced. "Robert, you've been so wonderful to me," I said, shaking. "Fortune has blessed me beyond my wildest dreams." His hand halted, a startling calm encompassing the air as he lifted his gaze to meet mine, his expression inscrutable. He whispered, "It's not luck, Mom. It's how things have always gone," and a silent connection surged between us in that instant, an unspoken understanding we couldn't express. Instead, I relaxed into his warmth and rhythmic touch on my leg, which brought me tremendous peace. "Will you let me remain with you tonight?" After a long silence, he spoke with trepidation, as if his query hung in the air, unsure of its response. In that moment, I nodded, determined. "Yes, that sounds great." As he carefully put the blankets around me, the soft rustle of fabric mixed with the fading illumination of the screen, his bashful yet kind smile glowed like a candle. Darkness fell over the room, but the lamp on the side table cast a warm glow that brought life to the quiet. Shadows danced on the walls. After settling beside me, Robert squeezed my hand under the blanket to reassure me. I cuddled up, my head on his shoulder, feeling his warmth. The deep hush was oddly comforting. The stillness was dense with understanding and emotions too deep to express. The rhythm of his breath near me calmed me as I closed my eyes. After a few days, a subtle but unmistakable tension began to creep into our encounters. Our quiet moments together were shaped by its subtle presence in our daily lives. As he led me to the kitchen, his hand lingered forever. I held his stare, moved with thankfulness for our relationship. We sat on the couch each night, decreasing the space between us and forming an instinctual and curiously new connection. We never talked about it, but an unseen thread tightened between us with each passing instant. In a quiet moment one evening, Robert leaned closer and put his head on mine, surprising me. "Have you ever imagined a world where only you and myself were lost in our universe?" His breathy voice broke the silence as he leaned in. My heart tightened as I faced him, seeing his raw vulnerability. "What are you saying?" I whispered my question. Without expectations or anybody else to worry about, he paused, anxiously touching the blanket's tattered edge. "Just you and myself, fiercely carrying one other." His comments shook me like a storm, flooding me with feelings I couldn't understand. "It was a peaceful thought," I whispered. "Robert, life's tapestry is more intricate. You're aware." He murmured, "I do," nodding slightly with his steady stare. I still wanted different. Though uncertain, I bridged the stillness by weaving my fingers into his with gentle intensity. "Whatever comes our way," I said, my voice firm. "We'll handle this jointly." He stared at me with an intensity one couldn't describe, but it touched me deeply. "I don't think I've ever loved anyone as I love you," he muttered, his voice shaking with his confession, each syllable a frail promise. When my heart swelled, I instinctively grabbed him and clung to him as if leaving him would break the delicate magic of the moment. He fiercely hugged me, silently acknowledging that we both dreaded this moment's transience. "I love you too," I whispered, feeling the gravity of the words in that moment. Beyond affection, they swore a binding promise in their hearts.